What is up, everybody? This is Power to Women, and this is the 31st episode. That's right, I did finally look it up, and we are on episode number 31. Wow, what a freaking journey. It's insane that I've come this far, that we've come this far, you know what I mean? And we're still learning, still getting out there, and like seeing what other amazing women are doing in this world, which is freaking amazing. So today, my special guest of the show is Gary. Gary is this beautiful plant right here. I don't know why I picked the name Gary, but I picked Gary. He's beautiful. And fun fact, this is not my plant. This is my brother's plant, but I have run out of plants for the show. So thank goodness that my brother has like a whole freaking jungle of plants that I can just pick one and like name it and have him on the show. But yeah, so this is Gary. And he's going to be joining me today to talk about a wonderful and talented and just a great person in general. She's amazing. So the person I'm talking about today, this week, is Dolores Huerta. That's right, it's a little bit hard to pronounce. It's because it is a Spanish last name. And Dolores is Mexican, which is freaking awesome because I'm part Mexican, for anybody who didn't know that. My grandpa is a half, so I'm technically an eighth Mexican. And like, I kind of identify more with like Mexican culture and all that, just because I feel like I was raised more in a Mexican way than like a non-Mexican way, if that makes sense. So I kind of identify more with like the Mexican culture and all that, which is freaking awesome because we all know Mexicans have the best food, so just saying. Anyway, so Dolores was born April 10th, 1930, and thankfully she's still freaking alive, because if she wasn't, I'd probably cry. She is an Aries. I think I'm going to start like saying what sign they are, because I think that's kind of cool. So she's an Aries, which is cool for a zodiac sign. So like what she's known for is she's like one of the most influential labor activists of the 20th century and a leader of the Chicano civil rights movement. And she's also known for like women rights movement, and she's done a lot of amazing things for this world and for this country that we should know who she is, because she's amazing. She was born in Dawson, New Mexico, and that's freaking cool, New Mexico. I like New Mexico. I know a lot of people don't, but I like it. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but anyway, so she has two brothers. I believe they're older brothers. Could be wrong on that, but I think they are. And her parents divorced when she was only 3 years old. So after the parents got divorced, her mother actually moved to California with like all the kids, and her grandfather, so her mother's father, helped raise them, which is pretty cool. But Dolores really never knew her father. Her father was not in her life at all. Her dad just stayed in New Mexico, I believe, or moved to Texas. And so he was just never around in their life. So her mother greatly impacted who she was, obviously, because that's who raised her, and like just created her, you know what I mean, which is freaking awesome. And her mother was a really like strong and beautiful woman also. So her mother juggled jobs between being a waitress and a cannery worker, and she actually saved enough money that she bought a small hotel and a restaurant, which is freaking amazing. You know what I mean? Like, to see like such a hard-working single mother put in all this time and effort to work, and then to just start a business, 2 businesses on top of that, which is freaking amazing. You know what I mean? And that just shows that women really can do anything that we want, because there's nothing that can hold us back. which is awesome. But her mother was Alicia. So her name was Alicia. And her mother was a community activist, and she treated workers very compassionately, and she, like, helped them out and fed them for free and, like, housed them for free sometimes in the hotel and all that. And that type of, like, compassion, like I said, and just, like, empathy that she showed to people, that really affected Dolores' life and who she would become in the future, because that's who who impacted her the most was her mom. So if you grow up and you see your mom always being compassionate and empathetic, then chances are you're probably gonna be the same way. So thank you, freaking Dolores' mom, for being the way you were, because if you weren't like that, then I don't think Dolores would be who she was today, and that would be very sad, because she's done amazing things. So just to continue with her life and schooling and all that, so she actually used to get discriminated against in school, which, like, a lot of people do, and especially a lot of colored people do, and it's very sad. And it wasn't, like, she talked about the discrimination that she faced in school, but it wasn't from the kids, it was more from the teachers. So she quoted this one teacher that actually told her that she plagiarized her own paper that she wrote because it was too well written. Could you imagine that, being told you didn't write that because it's too good? It's like, hell yeah, I wrote that, and she did write it. That should, like, show everybody that, like, she's freaking smart and she's amazing. But because she's a Mexican, she can't, like, people don't believe her, which is freaking ridiculous. But those types of situations also grew her into the person who she is, and helped her along the way to see how others are treated, because she knows how it feels to be discriminated against. You know, not a lot of people do. And she knows how it feels, so she knows how to stand up and help other people who are also discriminated against, which is amazing, because we need more people who can stand up against people who get, like stand up against discrimination, basically. So after, like, she went through high school, did all that, she actually went to college, and she received her Associates of Teaching degree, and the college she went to was the University of the Pacific's Delta College, which is awesome that she's very well educated. And there she met her first husband, Ralph Head, and they had 2 kids. But the marriage didn't last very long, sadly. Just disagreements, and they just weren't growing together, as it happens, you know. So they got a divorce, and then Dolores actually remarried to a fellow activist, Ventura Huerta. That's where she gets her last name, and they had 5 children. So in total, she has 7 children, which was pretty cool, you know. But sadly, that marriage also did not last. I'm not sure if she's with anybody right now, or if she's married or anything like that. I'm not really sure where her relationship status is as of 2021. But I feel like that's not super important, because she's done a lot more things in her life than just being in relationships, you know what I mean? So let's get to those things, right? So, like, this whole thing started, like, her whole activist movement started when she started teaching for a school. She's taught for a school for farmers' children, and she would see all these children coming in, and they were all hungry, because at that time being a farmer was not good, because you were not getting paid, you were just trying to live, and it was very hard to live. And so she kept seeing all these starving children coming into her classroom, and until one day she was like, you know what, I feel like I can do more good to help these starving children than to just teach them. And she did, which is freaking amazing that she made that connection, and she made that, like, observation that, like, she knew what she needed to do next, which is freaking amazing, because she could have just stayed and kept teaching them, and done the little amount of work that she could being a teacher, but by stepping down and going through the activism path, she made such a huge freaking impact on this world and this country, which is amazing. So in 1955, she began her career as an activist when she co-founded the Stockton chapter of the Community Service Organization, which led voter registration drives and fought for economic improvements for Hispanics. So she first started by trying to get more people to be able to vote, which everybody needs to vote if you're able to, because voting is very powerful and very helpful, because if we don't vote, then our voices can't be heard. And it's also really amazing that she was trying to help other Hispanics like herself, because they do need help, Everybody needs a little bit of help, so she was trying to give Hispanics some help, which is amazing, She also founded the Agricultural Workers Association. So this organized association, so in 1962, she and a fellow activist, Cesar Chavez, founded the National Farm Workers Association, the predecessor of the United Farm Workers Union, which formed 3 years later. She served as a VP until 1999, which is freaking amazing. But the Agricultural Workers Association follows along with those other two associations. And so when I looked up the Agricultural Workers Association, I looked it up because I didn't know what it was. And I found this article, and it only talked about how Cesar Chavez created it and founded it. No mention of Dolores, of course not, because she's a woman and she's a Hispanic, which is freaking ridiculous, because why, she founded it, why was she not included into that article? And that was just one article. I'm not sure if all the other articles said anything about it. I just looked at one. So that one article, you need to change your freaking article and include Dolores, because she freaking helped it. And she probably freaking came up with the idea, and Cesar probably didn't. But Cesar was named for it because he was a man, which is not right, because she freaking put more work into it. You know what I mean? But that happens a lot. But that's why I want to talk about Dolores, because I feel like she needs more recognition. I feel like a lot more people need to know about who she is and what she has been doing, because she's been doing amazing things. So let's continue with what other amazing things she's been doing, because she's been doing a lot. So throughout her work with the UFW, she organized workers, negotiated contracts, advocated for safer working conditions, including the elimination of harmful pesticides. Which, first off, why are we putting harmful pesticides on our food? That just doesn't seem right. If it's not safe for workers to be around it, it's probably not safe for us to be eating it. But so that's one more thing that she's trying to do. She's trying to help the environment, and she's trying to help everybody with the food they're eating. It was just, it's not she wasn't focusing on that, but it was a side effect of all the great things that she has been doing, which is amazing. So in 1973, she led another consumer boycott of grapes that resulted in the groundbreaking California Agricultural Labor Relations Act of 1975, which allowed farm workers to form unions and bargain for better wages and conditions. So this is what she was talking about, how she felt like she could give those kids a better fighting chance to become an activist than to keep teaching them, which obviously she did, because she made an act, which is amazing. So she did a lot of grape boycotts, which was because grapes are is a very popular crop in California. So a lot of farm workers worked on obviously grape crops, so that's why she did a lot of grape boycotts and all that. So during the late 1990s and early 2000s, she worked to elect more Latinos and women to political offices and has championed women's issues, which is freaking amazing because we always need more people to stick up for us Womxns. You know, we can stick up for ourselves, but we need to do it. You know, we need to actually do it and not just be like, oh, it's okay, you know, we'll just brush it under the rug this time. No, stand up for yourself, okay? You know, go after what you want. Go after, if you want to be a political figure, do it. Even though there's not a lot of women in politics, there are a lot more than there was back then, but she helped to get more people into political offices, so there would be more women today in it, which is freaking amazing because it obviously works, you know what I mean? So at the age of only 25, she was a lobbyist in Sacramento for the Stockton Community Service Organization and trained people to do grassroots organizing, which is freaking amazing because she was only 25 at that time, which is super young, you know what I mean? That's only 4 years away from my age. I could not even comprehend doing that in 4 years. So in September 1988, in front of the St. Francis Hotel in Union Square, she was severely beaten by a San Francisco police officer named Frank Achim during a peaceful and lawful protest of the policies and platform of the then current President George H.W. Bush. So she was severely beaten by peacefully protesting, which is freaking ridiculous, you know what I mean? And that officer did get press charges against him, and he did actually go to jail, which is amazing because just because you're a police officer does not mean you have the right to beat anybody up, to shoot anybody, to kill anybody. You don't have the right. You have the right to protect us, not to harm us. And obviously she was being peaceful and you were harming her, which is very disgusting. It's horrible. But she came back even stronger after that, you know? She didn't let that stop her. She didn't let that scare her into stopping what she was meant to do, what she is meant to do, you know? So thank you, Dolores, for staying strong and keeping going, because I'm sure that was very, very hard and scary. That would be such a scary experience, you know what I mean? I couldn't even imagine that. So thank you, Dolores, for being so strong. So she was an honorary co-chair of the Women's March on Washington on January 21st, 2017. So she's been on many organizations, chairs, and boards and all that for women, which is amazing. So she, to get into more of her being a woman activist and all that, so she defines a feminist person as someone who supports a woman's reproductive rights, who supports a woman's right to an abortion, who supports LGBT rights, who supports workers and labor unions, somebody who cares about the environment, who cares about civil rights, equality, equity in terms of our economic system. So that's how she defines feminist, and I would have to agree with her. I think my definition is pretty close to that, and that's who I am. I'm a feminist, you know. I don't know how you could be a woman and not a feminist. I have never got that. But I don't know. So in 2014, Dolores organized people in Colorado to vote against the 67th Amendment, which would limit a woman's access to birth control, family planning services, and abortions. And this actually was a trigger law. And so a trigger law means that even if a person if you are pregnant and you got pregnant by rape, incest, or any other disgusting way to get pregnant, you could not get an abortion because of that, which is freaking ridiculous. And everything that's been happening right now in the news. So for everybody who doesn't know, Texas has just made it illegal for women to get an abortion after 6 weeks. But most women don't know they're pregnant until at least 8 weeks. You know, unless they're like actively trying, but most women don't. Like, they don't know by 6 weeks. And so for Texas to make it illegal, that's freaking pisses me off. And the whole reason this whole, like, there are so many states coming out with banning abortion and all that is because Roe v. versus Wade, which is a Supreme Court case, is being looked into. It's like in a gray zone where they're looking into whether it should stand or if it should fall. And so because it's in the gray zone, states are now able to actually make laws against abortion, which is freaking ridiculous because just because you ban abortion doesn't mean it's going to go away. It's not. There's just going to be more women who are getting hurt because they can't get an abortion safely in a clinic. And I find it so freaking ridiculous that men have the right to tell us women like what medical services we can get. We aren't having a choice over our bodies anymore at this point. We're being told if you get pregnant, you have to have a baby. But you know what? Men don't have to have that decision. Men don't have anything. You know what? I'm still pissed off that law has come about in Texas and in all the states that have made it illegal to get an abortion. I am disgusted by you. I just can't. I have no words because I just don't understand why people, and it's not people, it's men. I don't understand why men have to think that they have to control our bodies and and women's bodies. I just don't understand it. And so I get really angry and I'm just super passionate about it because I just don't think it's right. You know, if it's your body and you don't want a baby, don't have a baby. You know what I mean? I just don't understand why there are laws out there telling us that if we have a baby that we don't want, we can't go and get rid of it. Then we're going to have to give birth to it, destroy our bodies, women's bodies, because most of the time when you give birth, you destroy your body. And then that child is either going to be in a very abusive household because that child was not wanted, or that child is going to be put into child protective services and they're going to have to go through foster care and all that, which is never good. Foster care is not good. You know what I mean? So I get very upset when I hear about things like that, but I'm so glad there's people like Dolores out there who are trying to fight against this, you know what I mean? And I'm trying to, like, when I read about that, the banning in Texas, I actually Googled the Texas governor's phone number, and I called, but of course nobody answered. But I'm trying to just get my voice out there and tell people that this is not right. I'm sure they know that, but maybe they don't. Because why would they be making these laws then? You know what I mean? So thank you, Dolores, for helping women's rights. Because this is a woman's right, you know? It's a woman's right to get an abortion, and our right has been taken away in some states, which is freaking ridiculous. But there's people like Dolores, so thank you. And more people need to step up like Dolores, you know? I'm trying to, and if I find more information on how to help out with any of these situations, I'm definitely going to share because I think that's very important to know and to learn. And that's what we're here to do, right? To learn. So to move on from that little rant, so she is an advocate for farm workers' rights. So she has been arrested 22 times for participating in non-violent civil disobedience activities and strikes. 22 times for peacefully doing it. I thought it was our right to protest, but I guess not, right? I thought it was our right. I thought it was women's right to own our own body, but I don't know. There's these stupid lawmakers out there that are just not, I don't know what happened to them, but they're messed up. So she is actually the president of the Dolores Huerta Foundation, which is freaking awesome. So she has her own foundation, and she founded it in 2002, and it's a community benefit leadership. So what this foundation is it is a community benefit organization that organizes at the grassroots level, engaging and developing natural leaders. DHF, Dolores Huerta Foundation, creates leadership opportunities for community organizing, leadership development, civic engagement, and policy advocacy in the following priority areas: health and environment, education and youth development, and economic development, which is freaking amazing because she is helping the whole world with that foundation. She is. She's an amazing woman. And because she's an amazing woman, she has received many awards, which is so amazing. Like I always say, if you're doing something amazing, you should be recognized for it. And so she has been. So she has received the Eleanor Roosevelt Human Rights Award in 1998 and the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2002, which she was given to by President Barack Obama, which is freaking amazing. And as of 2015, she was a board member of the Feminist Majority Foundation, the Secretary-Treasurer Emeritus of the United Farm Workers of America, and the president of the Dolores Huerta Foundation. She also currently has 15 honorary doctorates, and she was named one of the three most important women of the year of 1997 by Miss Magazine, and like that's amazing. She has done so many amazing things, and she's been awarded for those amazing things, which I'm so glad happened. And she's just an amazing woman. You know, honestly, she's so freaking busy. I don't know how she keeps her head straight, because she's the president of, like, her foundation. She's a part of so many other organizations, and she has to live her life. She has 7 kids, you know what I mean? Like, how does she have the time to do all this? I would like to know. But that goes more to say that she's such a freaking amazing woman, you know what I mean? Like, she can juggle all these things and still keep her head straight, which is amazing. She's an amazing, smart, and beautiful woman that deserves the whole world, because she is doing such good work for everybody around her and for everybody in the country, you know what I mean? I know even Mexico has awarded her some awards, which is freaking amazing. So not only is she helping the United States, but she's also helping other countries like Mexico, which is freaking awesome. And I'm so glad that she was born, and I'm so glad that she was influenced by her amazing mother, and I'm so glad that she decided to become an activist, because if not, this world would be very sad, and we would not be as far as we are right now. You know, even though there are still some states who think it's okay to ban abortion. It's not, okay? But I am very optimistic that we as a country will overturn all those abortion bans, and we will get back on the right track to women's rights where we were. You know, we'll get better. We will. I know we will, because we are women. We are resilient. We are beautiful. We are strong. And nobody can tell us what to do, which is freaking amazing, because I know it's true. But yeah, so I hope everybody enjoyed Dolores. That was Dolores. I hope everybody learned a lot, because I know I did. I know I learned a ton researching her. And there's actually a documentary out there called Dolores. I'm not sure what it's on. I did not watch it. So if you do watch it, let me know how it was and where you watched it, and I'll definitely check it out. But yeah, so now it's time to get into the positive segment time. Woo! So I wanted to talk about something that comes out of a negative. So one big negative that's happening right now to our country is Hurricane Ida. Hurricane Ida is hitting the south very, very hard. It's destroying and killing so many, and it's very, very sad. But something positive to come out of that is that there have been 60 cows rescued from waters from the Hurricane Ida from volunteers who have gone out and rescued them, which is freaking amazing because I know a lot of people don't think about this, but those hurricanes don't just impact people. They impact animals, and they kill millions and hundreds of animals each time they hit because the animals don't have no way to, A, get out of their pens, B, they don't have no way to climb on top of something high. You know, they just don't have that ability. So it's very important for humans to help these animals, and I'm so glad that people have taken that step and have helped all these animals, or at least these 60 cows, to keep living another day. It's a very horrible, hurricanes are very horrible, not only for people but for animals. You know, it's horrible for everything. You know, even the land, it's hard on the land. But it will be over soon, but you still gotta live through it, and there'll probably be some more next year, because it happens every single year. But anyway, 60 cows were rescued, which is freaking amazing. So that was a positive segment. It wasn't super duper positive just because Hurricane Ida is not positive, but because people are helping animals, it is positive. So yeah, I hope everybody learned a lot on this episode. I hope everybody enjoyed Dolores because she's freaking amazing and she's still alive. So if you want to go check her out, go do that because she's an amazing woman and she is smart, brilliant, and beautiful. What else can I say about her? You know what I mean? But yeah, so as always, everybody, you can find this podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Power to Women. Woohoo! And you can find it on all podcasting mediums. Also, if you'd like to go check out my personal Instagram page at EmilyNichols00, that'd be awesome. And my personal Twitter page at YoungEmily1864, that'd also be awesome. Also, if you want to go check out my podcast that I do with my brother called the 5 Cent Club, it's on all podcasting mediums, and it's on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok at the 5 Cent Club. So go check all those out. I'd greatly appreciate it. And as always, I hope everybody has an amazing rest of your day. Stay safe out there. You know, help animals, help people, and help women out there. Help people in general. Just be kind to everybody. And really just try to make an impact in people's lives, a good impact on people's lives, and a good impact on this country, because we need a lot more people like Dolores who are willing to fight for what they believe is right and what they have seen to be a problem in this country. So if you see a problem, go out and fix it. Fight for what you believe in, peacefully though. And as always, I will talk to ya and see y'all next week on Tuesday. Peace and aliens be with you.